So Bice, can you tell us how you came to start Skylight?
Well, I was one of the most fortunate people to be approached to lead an organisation that had a vision to make a difference to young people, and I was approached and started on the 25th of May 1998, which seems a long time ago, but it was a very special time for me. So that's how I started. I was approached by the visionaries of Skylight.
And what was the thinking behind establishing this organisation?
The thinking behind it, I think, was very progressive at the time, actually, because there was a sense that young people were attending counsellors to be fixed. And those counsellors said very clearly, no, you can't fix anything. You have to move forward with resilience in life. And it isn't, the initial approach, actually, Mary Potter Hospice, and Mary Potter Hospice Board was very lateral thinking, and they said really it's not a palliative care issue, it's a life issue. So that's how it all came about, and it was primarily oriented towards counselling, actually, to begin with.
And so tell us what happened in the next stage of the journey.
Ooh, the next stage of the journey was a really wonderful one. I sat in a location actually where travellers and PD are now, on my coat, with a 3-bar heater, and 2 bars didn't work, and an empty barn of a place. And I had in my hand at that time In Your Hands, which was the first suicide report written by the Mental Health Foundation, and I had a cell phone, and I said, I'm Bice Awan from the Children's Grief Centre Charitable Trust. And they said, what? And who? And that's how it started, and we made a linkage initially with the Mental Health Foundation off my coat.
Lovely. And so getting a team around you?
Getting a team around me was one of the most magical things, because to begin with I actually sat in my office and locked the door, because I had a seat on my coat, and I wanted to pretend really that it was the biggest organisation possible with a big vision. And I started to get a team around me, and the first person who joined was Tricia Hendry. Then Tricia Irving, and she was one of the, we actually had a person who facilitated a reflection on Skylight within the first 3 weeks of us starting, and Tricia was one of those people, and she joined. She was the first to join. Then she attracted an amazing group of people who have been with me for about 14 years, and then I got I eventually, I don't know, I found the most amazing group of people who had the passion for community development, who had the passion for making a difference in society, and for a passion for making a difference to children and young people.
When you think back over the history of Skylight today, what are some of the highlights of your time here?
It's a touching question, actually, Aileen, which makes me reflect, probably emotionally, rationally, and in a fun way. The things that have touched me over the years is that I believe that every single member of the team around me has supported the journey of people that we believe in. And so I believe that we are all what I would call soul proprietors, S-O-U-L proprietors. And we make a difference every single day. So if I were to think of the highlight, it's actually every single day for 17 years. That's what's made the difference to my life.
Well, thank you, Bice, and thank you for Skylight.
Oh, thank you very much.
So Tricia, can you tell us how you came to Skylight?
I came to Skylight as a volunteer because my children had been involved in a support group just up the road here at the hospice in Wellington. They ran a support group, but most of the children, like my children, weren't there because they'd been bereaved through a palliative care illness and cared for by the hospice. Most of the children who were there had been bereaved through accidental death or a suicide or a homicide, something, a natural sudden death. And so the hospice actually closed that group because it didn't really fit with what they were doing. And the people who ran it said, well, you know, there's a new organisation we're thinking of starting. And so I said, oh, keep me in touch. And once it got going, I was asked, would I like to volunteer? So I came as a volunteer.
And what were you involved in when you first came?
Well, I remember Bice, our Chief Executive, said to me that she'd like us to set up a resource information centre. And I was only volunteering, I don't know, it would have been a couple of mornings or something like that. She had a few newspaper cuttings and one book. And I said, oh, you mean like a library? And she said, well, yes, and I love libraries, so that was okay. And then she said, would you like to go to Auckland and see the Mental Health Foundation and how they do theirs? So I flew up on my first business trip to see how that was done and learnt, and then just slowly started to build it up, and then I was offered a part-time job, and then before you knew it, I was here full-time.
Oh. So you became involved in actually writing some of the resources.
The main goal is to give people really good, empowering information. And so I wanted to find that wherever I could. And when there wasn't that information, it just made sense to find out what it was and write it down. So that's how it started. Then the first resource was because we got inquiries around what can we do to help little children, like 3, 4, 5 years old. And there was nothing. So I worked with the early childhood arena and other experts and developed a really great workbook that could be personalised to a child, and it actually still sells today. But it was very modest, we just did it in a very simple way, but that worked well. And then once we'd done that, we thought, well, let's do the same sort of thing but for older children, and then one thing led to another. So we never set out to publish, we set out to provide information. It just so happens that a good way to do that is to publish it and make it available. So that's
how many titles have you been involved in your time here?
Separate titles, about 70, but some of those are series of booklets and things like that. So it's, you know, it's been very creative and it suits who I am and what I can do. So I've been very fortunate really to be able to work in the area. It's lots to learn. It's really fascinating what people need, and sometimes just good information. It just makes the world of difference to people. It makes them feel stronger and more normal and more confident to take the next step. And so, yeah, it's a big part of what we do, and it's been great to be part of it. And
at what stage is the resource centre at now?
Today? Well, today I'm not involved in it. And we have 2 staff working there, and we have people from all over the country asking for support packs. We send out information packs to people. We loan books and games and all sorts of things. And I think in August, the last month, there were 102 people requested a personalised support pack to be sent to them. So that's exciting. And we also have a website shop now that sells our resources.
So thinking back over your time at Skylight, what are some of the highlights for you?
Well, there's so many. We've had lots of people come and go, and everyone who's come makes a contribution and brings skills and strength, and so we sort of keep edging forward. I like to remember coming up the very first day up the stairs and seeing Bice sitting there, and I'd never met her before, and just chatting away, but there were none of the walls that are here today. It was just a big open space, and to see it today, you know, functioning in all these different departments and things, it's quite amazing. You think, gosh, how did that happen? I guess hearing people's stories, especially the stories where something that Skylight's done or contributed to their lives has made a difference, it's really amazing. You think, gosh, really? Was it that simple? But, you know, that's the thing with good information or good counselling or a support group, it can make a big difference. So I guess every time I hear one of those is a highlight. Yeah, lots of highlights. It's taught me a lot about life. It's a challenging place to work. You know, it's the raw end of things.
Thank you, Tricia.
It's a pleasure.